Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. My name is Macy, and I am so excited that you're joining me today. If this is your first time hopping over on my podcast, thank you for being here. I really hope you get everything that you need and more from all of the episodes here. And if you are a returning listener, a loyal listener, you're here all the time, you stay up to date on all the episodes or you binge, thank you for you as well, just being you. I appreciate you sharing the podcast with your friends, telling a bunch of people about it, leaving reviews, messaging me to let me know how much it's helping you. It always makes my entire day, week, month. So I appreciate you so much. Okay, before we get started on today's topic, which I'm actually really excited to dive into because I don't think I've ever talked about it before and I think it's so valuable. Before we get into that, I just want to say this is perfect timing if you have wanted to be coached by me, but for free. Because a lot of times I hear podcast listeners say, dang it, I was just catching up on episodes and I missed your most recent freebie. Well, let me tell you that if you're listening to this as soon as it releases on Monday, November 4th, 2024, you're in luck because I have a freebie starting November 6th, this Wednesday, 2024. And I'm so excited for it. So I am offering one of my freebies that I first did earlier this year in the spring that ended up being a huge unexpected hit as far as I'm concerned. I launched a freebie called Breakthrough that very closely mimicked the structure and the way that I operate my paid program, the Hybrid Experience, which maybe you've heard about. The Hybrid Experience is an advanced emotional intelligence program for women where we coach together for 6 months, and it's very high touch. They get my one-on-one attention through one-on-one coaching. They get group coaching. They have a huge 200 and something page workbook to dive really, really deep into our topics and learn new concepts. And at the end of our 6 months together, they get a 4-night luxury retreat in a beautiful destination. So I wanted to run a freebie that was very similar. And earlier this spring, I called it Breakthrough and spent 4 weeks coaching for free women who came to the group call and then also got to do a one-on-one call with me. And it was amazing. What I thought would maybe be 15 signups ended up being over 60 signups. And it was so much fun. So I decided that I wanted to run it again this fall, but I wanted to make it new and fresh. So I'm calling it Breakthrough 2.0. It's all new content compared to last time. You get the downloadable workbook. We will coach the next 4 Wednesdays in November. So the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. And if you're fast, you also have the opportunity to coach with me one-on-one. So you really get to see what it's like to be in a program that's structured this way. So the only stipulation, I guess you could say, is that you're a woman that is at least 28 years of age or older and that you're going to show up to our live calls every week. So I ask that if you sign up, you're signing up with the intent to participate and really be present and enjoy the experience. And so if that sounds like you and this is something that you would like to do, the link will be shared in the show notes here so that you can sign up and not miss any of the emails before we get started, okay? All right. Let's talk about today's topic, which is, I titled this My Secret to Fast Track Growth. And that is because I really believe that if you can implement the things that I'm about to tell you, you truly will experience not only growth, but growth at a much faster pace. It will require that you grow your emotional intelligence and that you get really good at feeling uncomfortable emotions and that you get good at spotting when your ego is present. But I really believe this is one of the secret sauces to success. So I can't believe I've never talked about it, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Okay, here is the secret fast track to growth, in my opinion, the secret sauce, the thing that you want to take away. It is the mentality that you never want to be the smartest person at the table or in the room, okay? So this may sound very common sense, and maybe you've even heard this elsewhere, but I promise you, this is one of the things that has helped me so much in my journey, not only on a personal level, but a professional level as well. And it's something that my husband and I really deeply believe in, and we both very much hold this mentality in our mind. So I find it very problematic if I am the smartest or most talented person in the room, which goes against our natural human brain, okay? Because the thing about the human brain is we like validation. We often like to be the person that's going to experience praise. It feels really good for our ego. And, it always feels good to be loved on and to be seen as this leader or, person that other people look up to. And while there can be rooms where that is maybe the role that you play, when it comes to growth, you want to make sure that you are in rooms that trigger the F out of you. And I don't mean trigger you in a negative way where you shrink, but trigger you in such a way that you feel inspired to look within and grow on a much deeper level. So I'm going to give you an example of this. My husband and I recently went on a trip together and to an event. And at this event, there were a lot of very well-established people with really amazing careers and accolades. They spoke really well. You could tell that they were very emotionally intelligent. And while I would say we possess a lot of those skills, especially when it comes to, emotional intelligence and being able to carry on strong, conversations, there were still accolades that we have not yet met that one day we would love to. And it would feel really easy in an environment like this to want to shrink and to hide in a corner or to leave early or not engage, not have conversations, not speak up, not ask questions. And again, a lot of that is all ego driven, right? When we don't feel like the smartest person in the room or like the person that can contribute the most, it can often bring about insecurities within us and within our brain that creates emotions we don't like feeling and then actions in which we often remove ourselves from the environment. But I would say my husband and I's secret to any success that we've had in our life is to put ourselves in the discomfort and uncomfortable situations of surrounding ourselves with people and in rooms and environments where we really feel what I would call a shrimp in a big ocean full of sharks and dolphins and whales and like huge creatures, right? Like when I think of the ultimate way to grow and be successful, it's making sure that I have people that push me to think at new heights, that are challenging all of my thoughts and perceptions. Again, not in a disrespectful way, not in an insulting way, but more so in a, have you ever considered this? Have you ever thought about that? Why are you thinking that way? Why are you holding on to thoughts in that way? What is driving your emotions? What is driving your actions? I think I can speak for my husband and I on this, in that we really enjoy being surrounded by people who challenge us and who at the end of like an event or an environment, or when we've left the table, when we feel like, oh my gosh, I want to go home and see what else I'm capable of, see what else I'm made of, stretch myself bigger. Those are the tables that we love to sit at. And so, we've been talking a lot about some different opportunities and where our next move might be. And one of the serious conversations we had, even in thinking about like our next move or what we were going to do, is if we move to a different place, we need to make sure that we are surrounding ourselves with people that ultimately make us feel like little shrimp, that challenge, us in a way in which we're only going to grow deeper. Because if we put ourselves at the tables where we're constantly the experts or constantly the people that, know more than everybody else we're sitting at, does it feel good sometimes? Of course, but we're not really going to get anywhere. So I really believe that one of the secrets to fast track growth, and maybe you're in this position where you're looking for this as well, is to get into the rooms and environments that just make you feel a little uncomfortable, and to really assess what rooms you're hanging out in the most. Like if you are in a room, an environment, a group or something where you're like, I know this already. I don't need to learn anything else. I feel like I know all of this already. How did this person not know that? I've known that for a long time. How is this person not getting it? I've gotten it for a long time. You know what I mean? When your brain, when you notice that your ego can very easily go, I'm here, and it seems like everybody else is in a different spot, and I really feel like I'm advanced, or I really feel like I'm doing well and maybe even better than everybody in the room. Let me just tell you that you're probably not putting yourself in the bigger, more challenging rooms. If consistent growth is something that you're looking for environments that feel safe but make you maybe wildly uncomfortable. There's been so many times where I put myself around people or in different groups or environments where I literally am crawling out of my skin. And again, it's not because they are making me feel any kind of way. It's not because they're being rude. It's not for any reason other than being around people who are several steps ahead of you will make you look at yourself on a deeper level. It's almost like this whole idea of, what the hell am I doing? Why haven't I gotten my crap together? I can't believe that this is what they're doing, and maybe at this age, like, what's going on? How do you get there? How do I expand to get to this level? And it doesn't mean that you want all the same things that maybe they're talking about or that they have. It doesn't have to be materialistic things, but it's really this mentality of, oh my gosh, there is so much more I'm capable of, or so much more that's possible, or so much more I don't know. And I'm very triggered that I don't know it because I don't feel like I can really hang in this group, but I'm going to hang in this group because I know that it's growing and stretching me. So if I'm invited to sit at this table, I'm going to get really good at feeling every single uncomfortable emotion and keeping myself in this, at this table or in these rooms that make me have to think at a higher level, that make me have to show up at a different level, that, make me really go introspective at what else I can do and what else I can do better. So those conversations that grow and stretch you, those moments where you feel wildly uncomfortable. And I often hear this in, coaching containers that some of my newer clients get into, where they're, a lot of times what it looks like is being overly apologetic because they don't feel like they I don't want to say fit in, but there is a level of that whenever you're on the fast track to growth and you're putting yourself in big, scary rooms. It kind of feels like, oh man, everybody else already knows all this stuff and I don't, and I have so much to learn and I feel a little silly being there. When you have that feeling, I think you are in the perfect growth level, truly. Like when you're in an environment where you're just like, holy crap, this is kind of scaring me a little bit. This is making me uncomfortable. I'm feeling things I don't want to be feeling. I don't feel like I know it all. And I actually feel like a little shrimp. When you feel that, I really think you've placed yourself in the fast track for growth, and that what you're going to walk away with is huge. As opposed to being the person that, again, is like, I already know this. I feel like I'm so much further ahead of everybody in this room. I feel like I'm not being grown and stretched as much. I don't really feel challenged. I feel like I've mastered this work or this topic, or, I feel like I'm around these conversations all the time. I feel like I'm always the one contributing, right? Not a lot of people are contributing to me, but I'm always contributing to them because I've done so much of this work. When you start to notice that as the pattern, it's time to put yourself in a more uncomfortable room where you're like, oh crap, this is really hard. This is really challenging. I don't feel like I know it all or I've mastered it all. And while that can be very uncomfortable, it is something that I know is stretching me and growing me. And so that is what I want to offer to you today, to consider putting yourself on the fast track to growth in that way. Again, this is a conversation that my husband and I have quite often, is that if we are in the room where we feel like we're the know-it-alls, we're looking at each other like, what in the actual hell are we doing? This is not the place we want to be. Truly, we want to look at each other in a room and be like, oh, I don't think we belong here, but that means we should probably stay and learn how to belong here. Again, not because we need everything that those people have, or it doesn't always mean anything materialistic, but it's like when someone else's way of showing up highlights areas of things that maybe you've never considered, it'll feel wildly, wildly uncomfortable, but it is also one of the best positions you can put yourself in, because you're now putting yourself in a position of extreme growth. You are up leveling and you are very consciously choosing to put yourself in a successful position when you look at it in the long term. And ultimately, in that process, you're squashing a lot of the brain's normal human behavior and the ego, right? The ego just wants to be the know-it-all and the person that people come to. And while, again, that can be really fun to be the person that everybody's coming to because they're like, oh my gosh, you know so much. You're my hero. You're like a leader. You know everything. You've like mastered it all. While that can be a very validating position to be in, if that's the position you're finding yourself in more than being in a position where you're like, WTF, what am I doing? I don't know how to answer these questions. I don't know. I'm not a master of this. I don't know. I'm going to have to be the student. When you put yourself in that kind of student position more times than not, that's really, to me, where you're winning at life. So don't forget to do that for yourself. Just look at kind of where are you spending the most time and what are your end goals. And if your end goals are, I want to be in a constant state of, evolution and challenging myself to reach new levels, then you have to be in the rooms and the positions and surrounding yourself by the people that bring out those triggers for a multitude of reasons. Again, it's not because it's like a dangerous environment or an unsafe environment, but really healthy triggers of, I never thought about that. I never considered that. I didn't know this thing bothered me. And it obviously highlights something that I need to work on. Like, those types of triggers can be very, very healthy for you to continually grow, which is one of the fundamental human needs that we have, is growth. So I hope this episode is helpful. And again, if you're ready to put yourself in a position where you might feel a little uncomfortable, but excited to grow and be in a position where, you're going to learn some new concepts and you're going to get to challenge your brain, I invite you to attend Breakthrough 2.0 starting Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. You can find the link in the show notes to sign up. And when you do that, shortly after, you will be getting emails with details so that you can show up and join us. And I can't wait to see you there. Have a great day and a great week, and I will see you all next time. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.